All right, OpenAI's new model, GPT-5, has landed, and wow, the claims are massive. But what's the real story here? What actually matters to you? Well, we're going to break it all down, get to the key takeaways, all in about 5 minutes. So let's dive right in.
Okay, so the entire story of GPT-5, it really boils down to this one big idea from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. Think about it this way. It's a shift from a tool that just gives you information to a partner that provides real expertise. And that's not just a minor upgrade, it's a complete rethink of what this AI is even for. So this is the massive jump we're talking about. If GPT-3 was kind of like a high school student, Altman said it had flashes of brilliance but lots of annoyance, then GPT-5, that's the seasoned pro. It's the difference between having a clever but, let's be honest, unreliable assistant and having an on-demand, PhD-level expert you can call on for pretty much anything.
Okay, but that's the claim, right? It's easy to say. So what can this so-called PhD expert actually do? Let's check out some of the demos and see this power for ourselves.
Check this out. This is a perfect example. A user just asks for a simple explanation of the Bernoulli effect, the physics that helps planes fly. But then they ask it to build an interactive demo. And get this, in just 2 minutes, GPT-5 spits out almost 400 lines of code and builds a fully working physics app. An app like that would normally take a human developer an entire week to build. Insane.
And this leap, it's not just about technical skill. It's about quality, about feeling. So when they asked it to write a eulogy for the older AI models, GPT-4o's version was, well, it was generic. It felt like a template. But GPT-5's, it was rhythmic, it was personal, and it actually felt kind of emotional. The big takeaway here is that it's not just about having a high IQ anymore. Now it's about having high EQ, emotional intelligence too. It's becoming less like a machine and more like a really smart, empathetic friend.
I mean, these creative demos are pretty stunning, right? But for a lot of people, the real proof is in the numbers, the cold, hard data. So let's switch gears and look at the benchmarks that really back up these new skills.
So first up, coding. GPT-5 now has the top score on this really important test called SWE Bench. And this isn't just some abstract academic test. No, SWE Bench tests how well an AI can fix real bugs from actual live open source projects. So what does that mean? It means its coding skills are seriously ready for professional day-to-day work.
And this next one might be even more mind-blowing. There's this benchmark called MMU. It tests how well an AI can reason using a mix of things, images, charts, text, all at once. And on that test, GPT-5 doesn't just beat the old models. It actually outperforms most human experts. That is a massive leap in its ability to solve really complex, messy problems. Okay, so we've established it's powerful. It's smart. But here's what might be the biggest news of all for most of us: how you can actually get your hands on it. And this is a huge deal. For the very first time, the absolute best, most advanced model is available to free users. Yeah, you heard that right. Now, of course, paid users will get higher limits and stuff, but making the frontier model free, that fundamentally changes who gets to play with top-tier AI. It's a game changer. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, that means 700 million people who use ChatGPT every week now have access to this incredible new level of intelligence. Think about that. The potential for innovation, for creativity, all around the world, it just took this giant leap forward. So when you give out this much power to this many people, suddenly the platform it's all built on, and maybe more importantly, the safety systems that control it, they become absolutely critical. For all the developers out there, it's all about having options. You can now pick the perfect tool for any job using the API. So if you need maximum horsepower for a really complex problem, you use the main GPT-5 model. But what if you need something super fast and cheap for a simple chatbot? Well, there's a nano model that's 25 times cheaper. It's all about balancing power, speed, and cost. Developers are also getting a whole new box of toys for more precise control. But the biggest upgrade, it has to be the absolutely massive context window. We're talking 400,000 tokens. To put that in perspective, that's like being able to copy and paste an entire book, I'm talking like 300 pages, straight into the chat, and the AI will remember every single word. Which, of course, brings us to the elephant in the room. When you have an AI that's this powerful and this accessible, how on earth do you keep it safe? Well, it turns out OpenAI has completely re-engineered how they think about safety. So before, the models had a really simple binary choice. Either answer the question completely or just refuse. That "I can't help you" message, which was super frustrating. Now there's a new system called safe completion, and its goal is to find a way to be as helpful as possible within the safety guardrails. So it might answer part of your question or try to steer the conversation in a safer direction. So what's the bottom line for you? It means a much, much better experience. You're going to see way fewer of those annoying "I'm sorry, I can't help with that" responses. Instead, you get a system that's built from the ground up to be more helpful without ever sacrificing safety. Okay, so we've looked at the demos, the data, the tools for developers. Let's zoom out for a second. What does this big shift from a simple tool to an expert partner actually mean for you, for your work, for your creative projects? This quote from a user named Carolina Millen, who used the AI to help with her own complex healthcare journey, I think it just says it all. She didn't call it a tool. She called it a thought partner that connects the dots. It's not just spitting out information anymore. It's a real collaborator. There's actually a technical term for this idea, agentic AI. And what that means is it's an AI that doesn't just wait for a single command. Nope. It can take a big, complex goal you give it, break that goal down into smaller steps, use the different tools it has, and then work on its own autonomously to get the job done. And looking at this timeline really puts the whole journey into perspective, doesn't it? We went from GPT-3, which was a helpful but kind of flawed tool, to GPT-4o, which was a much smarter assistant. And now we've arrived at GPT-5, which really feels like a genuine creative partner. So the big idea to take away is this. It's not just an expert anymore. It's so much more than that. It's like having an entire team of experts, a coder, a writer, a physicist, all right there in your pocket, ready to go. And we've already seen what that looks like. It means building a complex finance dashboard from nothing in just 5 minutes. It means having a simple idea for an interactive 3D castle game and then just watching it get built right in front of your eyes. So the technology itself is changing. It's shifting from being a mirror that just reflects back information to being an engine that actually drives creation. It gives you a team of experts in your pocket. So really, the only question left to ask is, what are you going to build with it?